welcome back to the podcast, dude. It is Tuesday, and we have a super packed episode today. I am Taylor, and I am so incredibly ready to dive into this AI news.
And I am Morgan. I am always ready to cut through the industry hype and see what is actually happening. What is on the agenda for us today, Taylor?
We are talking huge AI layoffs at ClickUp, AI models making up fake sources, George Hotz absolutely hating on coding agents, and a super cool open source release from Together AI. Okay, so first up, I saw this crazy article on TechCrunch. ClickUp, the massive productivity startup, they are apparently replacing hundreds of human employees with thousands of AI agents.
Wait, really? Hundreds of employees just gone? I mean, we have been warning about this for months, but seeing a 9-year-old startup to a mass swap for AI agents is incredibly aggressive.
Dude, exactly. It is like the terrifying future of work is literally happening right now. They are just swapping human roles for these automated agent swarms. It is totally wild to think about.
But what does this actually mean for their product quality? Sure, AI agents are significantly cheaper, but can thousands of bots really replace the nuanced problem-solving of hundreds of experienced human workers?
I mean, that is the big million-dollar question, right? TechCrunch points out this is a massive signal for the industry. If ClickUp pulls this off, like every other tech startup is going to copy them.
Right. It sets a very dangerous precedent. It is the ultimate test of whether these agents are actually autonomous or if management just bought into the AI hype and jumped the gun completely.
Totally. I guess we will see if ClickUp's platform gets super buggy or if it runs like an absolute dream. But man, it is a really scary time to be a worker in tech.
It really is. It also makes me deeply wonder about the reliability of the AI they are deploying, which actually ties perfectly into our next story about AI hallucinations.
Oh, you are so right. Because if those ClickUp bots start hallucinating, the whole company is going to grind to a total halt, which is a perfect segue to our next topic, honestly.
Exactly. The tech just might not be mature enough for that level of blind trust yet. So what is this new research you found about AI models and their sources?
Okay, so the Decoder reported on this fascinating new study from Peking University. Apparently, leading models like GPT and Gemini are getting answers right, but pointing to totally wrong sources.
Oh, interesting. So they give you the correct factual answer, but when you ask them to cite their evidence in a document, they just completely hallucinate the citation out of nowhere?
Yes, exactly. The researchers are officially calling it attribution hallucination. Dude, imagine using this for like a massive legal case or medical research, and the AI gives you a totally fake source.
That is incredibly dangerous for regulated fields. Law and medicine rely entirely on verifiable evidence. If the citation is wrong, the correct answer is basically useless in a strict professional context.
Right, like it is so sneaky because you read the answer and go, oh, that is obviously correct. So you just blindly assume the source link it gives you is also legit.
It builds a very dangerous false confidence. The researchers created a benchmark called cite VQA to test this systematically, which is honestly long overdue. We desperately need to measure this specific failure mode.
Totally agree. It is like the models are trying to be super helpful, but just get lazy and guess the page number. We definitely need things like cite VQA to keep these models honest.
I think it proves that large language models are still fundamentally just pattern matchers, not databases. They do not actually know where they read something. They just predict what a citation looks like.
Dude, that makes so much sense when you put it like that. It is literally just predicting the text of a link. It is wild how we just blindly trust these things.
Well, some people are definitely starting to wake up to these severe limitations, which brings us to a very vocal critic in the software development space who is not holding back.
Oh, man, yes! So George Hotz, the famous programmer, he just came out swinging today. I saw on the decoder that he called AI coding agents one of the most costly mistakes in software.
Wait, the most costly mistake? That is a massive, sweeping claim. Did he explain why he is so fiercely against them? Because the whole industry is currently obsessed with AI coding assistants.
He really did. He said he tested them extensively for 6 months, and yeah, they give you fast prototypes, but then they completely fall apart on the details. It is so crazy.
I mean, that perfectly aligns with what I have been saying. Generating boilerplate code is easy, but debugging the subtle, complex errors an AI introduces, that takes way more time than writing it.
Exactly. He said the bugs they produce just keep getting harder and harder to spot. Like, you think you are saving all this time up front, but you are just creating a massive headache later.
It really highlights how deeply split the AI community is right now. You have companies like ClickUp betting their whole company on agents, and industry veterans like Hotz saying it is a total disaster.
Dude, it is such a polarized vibe right now. Like, who is actually right? Are we moving way too fast? Or is Hotz just being a hater because he likes doing things the old way?
I think Hotz has a very valid point about technical debt. If you do not fundamentally understand the code your AI agent wrote, maintaining it in production is going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, you are probably right about that. It is like building a giant house of cards. But you know what definitely is not a house of cards? This new open source drop from Together AI.
Ah, yes, I saw this detailed piece on MarkTech Post. Together AI just released something called Oscar. It is a new quantization system for long context LLM serving. This is actually a pretty significant technical breakthrough.
Okay, you gotta break this down for me because the title had so many crazy buzzwords. It is an attention-aware 2-bit KV cache quantization system. Like, what does that even mean in plain English?
Basically, when AI models process huge amounts of text, they store context in a KV cache, which eats up massive amounts of memory. OSC compresses that memory footprint down to just 2 bits per element.
Oh, wow. Just 2 bits? That sounds incredibly tiny. Doesn't that totally destroy the accuracy of the model if you compress the data that much? Like, how does it still even work?
That is the clever part. Unlike older methods that compress data blindly, Oscar analyzes the attention structures offline. It applies separate rotations for keys and values, carefully preserving the most important contextual information.
Dude, that is so incredibly cool. And MarkTech Post said it gives like an 8 times memory reduction and speeds up decoding by up to 3 times for super long context lengths. That is huge.
It is a massive efficiency win for the industry. They tested it on Q1 models and the accuracy drop was minimal, under 4 points. This means running long context models just got significantly cheaper and faster.
I absolutely love that they open sourced it too. It is like, yes, the big models are getting crazy expensive, but the open source community is just out here finding genius ways to make it run on less.
Exactly. While some companies are solely focused on building bigger data centers, innovations like Oscar are proving that algorithmic efficiency is just as critical for the sustainable future of AI scaling.
Totally. Efficiency is absolutely the name of the game if we want this stuff to actually be usable for everyone. Man, what an incredibly wild week for AI tech and software development.
It really has been. From massive workforce shifts to deep technical breakthroughs, the landscape is changing daily. We will definitely keep tracking how these complex stories develop over time.
For sure. That is it for today. We will be back tomorrow with more AI news.